Can you solve all these Class 10 History, Chapter 3, The Making of a Global World questions? 3 types of flows.
Valid point. Goods, labor, capital is true. Tamil migrants went too. Strong choice. Ceylon and Malaya is right. Cowries are used as dash. Nice selection. Currency is correct. What do you mean by minx? Clear logic. Multinational corporations companies is sound. America was discovered by. On track. Christopher Columbus is correct. What do you mean by G77? You chose group of developing countries? Correct. What do you mean by Rinderpest? Exactly. A disease makes sense.
The Axis powers did not include.
Nicely done. Britain is solid. Rinderpest arrived in Africa in? Correct response. 1880 is accurate. The Silk routes linked Asia with. Excellent. Both N is well reasoned. El Dorado, the fabled city of Dash.
Bravo. Gold is the answer. Which was the fabled city of gold?
You got it, El Dorado fits. What does the Silk Route refer to? Well picked. Westbound Chinese silk cargoes is correct. Pasta was taken by Arab traders too. Well done. Sicily is right. Columbus discovered America in dash. Right choice. 1492 is best.
The silver metal was not available in.
Well reasoned. Peru is correct. Why were Europeans attracted to Africa? Good job. Resources works well. The country which implemented corn laws. Good thinking. Britain is right. When did Irish potato famine took place? 1849 fits perfectly. Who was the pioneer of mass production? Great thinking. Henry Ford is right. Spaghetti from which country dash? Right again. Italy is valid. The First World War was fought mainly in. Solid response. Europe is valid. Who made the best cost-cutting decision? Perfect. Henry Ford is the one.
Which of these come under the Allies' power?
Excellent choice. Britain, France, Russia is right. The smallpox was first brought to America by? You're right. Spanish conquerors is correct. When did the global agriculture economy start? Sharp thinking. 1890 is right. The US became a colonial power in the late dash. Smart move. 1890s is accurate answer. The famous route connected in pre-modern period. Smart pick. Silk Road is correct.
In which country did the Great Depression start?
Correct. USA 1929 is spot on. The best cost-cutting decision was taken by whom? Great job. Henry Ford is accurate. 1,000 people died in Ireland between 1845-1849 due to. Correct response. Potato famine is accurate. The most common food of the world was not known to. Bravo. Asians is the answer.
Liberalization policies started in India during Dash.
1990s is solid.
The country which was famous for spices and textile.
Well done. India is right.
The assembly line method is associated with the name of.
On track. Henry Ford is correct.
What technology helped in transporting perishable goods?
Good thinking. Refrigerated ships is right.
During 1845 to 1849, the Great Potato Famine spread in.
Well reasoned. Ireland is correct.
What was the time period the Second World War was fought?
Sharp thinking. 6 years is right.
Who among the following discovered the America continent?
Excellent. Christopher Columbus is well reasoned.
Who discovered the vast continent, later known as America?
Great job. Christopher Columbus is accurate.
Due to the Great Depression, the prices of raw jute fell by.
Solid response. 60% is valid.
Who worked in American plantations during the 18th century?
Good job. Slaves captured from Africa works well.
Who was the first people to link the world in ancient times?
Strong choice. All of the above is right.
To escape religious persecution, the people of Europe fled to.
You're right. America is correct.
When did the indentured labor system was abolished in India?
Nice selection, 1921. What was the important feature of the US economy in the 1920s? Clear logic. Mass production is sound.
Later, which subcontinent became the center of the world trade?
Right again. Europe is valid.
The Corn Laws were enacted in Britain due to the pressure from.
Smart move. Politicians is accurate answer.
Till the dash, animals were shipped live from America to Europe.
You got it. 1870s fits.
The colonization of Africa was completed in 1885 and called Dash.
Excellent choice. Paper partition is right. Which of the following did not take part in the First World War? Nice work. Portugal fits perfectly.
From ancient times, travelers travel long distances in search of.
Exactly. Knowledge makes sense.
Where was the demand for labor more? That led to more migration.
Well picked. America and Australia is correct. What technique did Henry Ford use for her mass production of cars? Right choice. Assembly line technique is best.
Dash movement was launched at the height of the Great Depression.
Valid point. Civil disobedience movement is true.
What was South America's El Dorado fabled as in the 17th century?
Perfect. City of Gold is the one.
The Prime Minister of India who introduced liberalization policies.
PV Narasimha Rao is spot on.
Thousands of people left Dash for Dash because of deadly diseases.
Great thinking. Europe for America is right.
Who adopted the concept of assembly line to manufacture automobiles?
Smart pick. Henry Ford is correct.
In the 18th century,
Which among the following was not a rich country? You chose Peru? Correct! Who was a well-known pioneer of mass production in the US at the time? You're right. Henry Ford is correct. In 1890s, the contribution of Africa in the world's gold production was valid point, 20% is true. The concept of an assembly line to produce automobiles is adopted by whom? Right choice. Henry Ford is best. Which of the following was not a destination for Indian indentured migrants? Good job, Japan works well. Active coastal trade linked the Indus Valley civilizations as far back as dash. Strong choice. 3000 bis is right. Introduction of which crop made a difference between life and death in Europe? Smart move. Potato is accurate answer. An industrial society based on mass production cannot be sustained without dash. Clear logic. Mass consumption is sound. Until 18th century, which two countries were considered the richest in the world? Right again. India and China is valid. In which conference were International Monetary Fund and World Bank established? Nice selection. Bretton Woods is correct. What was the outcome of Bretton Woods Conference? It led to the establishment of. You got it? International Monetary Fund fits. Which of the following diseases proved a deadly killer for the people of America? Good thinking. Smallpox is right. Which out of the following was beyond the reach of the poor in 18th century Europe? Well picked. Meat is correct. Which one of the following institutions was established in the Bretton Woods Conference? Solid response. International Monetary Fund is valid. The USA became a colonial power in the late 1890s by taking over some earlier colonies of. Excellent choice. Spain is right. Europe's poor began to eat better and live longer with the introduction of the humble dash. On track. Potato is correct. The group of powers collectively known as the Axis power during the Second World War were. Smart pick. Germany, Italy, Japan is correct. Name the writer who was a descendant of indentured labor migrants and also got Nobel Prize. Well done. V.S. Naipaul is right. In 1885, the big European powers met in Dash to complete the carving up of Africa between them. You chose Berlin, correct? In the 19th century, where did the huge number of Indian and Chinese laborers migrated to work on? Great job. In mines is accurate. Common foods like potatoes, groundnuts, maize, tomatoes, chilies, sweet potatoes were introduced in. Nicely done. Europe is solid. As early as Dash, an active coastal trade linked the Indus Valley civilization with present West Asia. Correct response. 3000 BC is accurate. Until well into the 18th century, which two countries were among the world's richest countries? Sharp thinking. China and India is right. Which of the following countries has an effective right of veto over key IMF and World Bank decisions? Great thinking. USA is right. What change did low-cost structure of the Chinese economy, most importantly its low wages, bring about?
Excellent. Investment by Mengs is well reasoned.
Which disease traveled from Europe to America and was responsible for mass deaths of the original inhabitants of America?
Exactly. Smallpox makes sense.
Which goods from the American continent enhanced Europe's wealth and financed its trade with Asia after its discovery in the 16th century? Nice work. Precious metals, particularly silver, fits perfectly.
Britain grew dash in India and exported it to China, and with the money earned through this sale, it financed its tea and other imports from China.
Perfect. Opium is the one. In India, indentured laborers were hired under contracts which promised return travel to India after they had worked for dash a years on their employer's plantation.
Correct. 5 is spot on.
Britain's trade surplus in India also helped pay private remittances home by British officials and traders, interest payments on India's external debt, and pensions of.
Bravo. Home charges is the answer.
By which year had the global agricultural economy had taken shape, accompanied by complex changes in labor movement patterns, capital flows, ecologies, and technology?
Well reasoned. 1890 is correct.
Britain had a trade surplus with India. Britain used this surplus to balance its trade deficits with other countries, that is, with countries from which Britain was importing.
You chose multilateral settlement system? Correct. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format?
Exactly. Contact Narayan Changda on Facebook. Makes sense.